want to tell you something about a call that I got from a client about 6 months ago. She was selling her first home, bought it 5 years earlier, lived there, built up equity, and was ready to move up to something bigger. She called me 3 days before her closing date, and she said something that I wasn't expecting and I'll never forget. She said, "Daniel, I just got the final numbers and I'm walking away with $47,000 more than I thought I was." And then she asked me something that stuck with me. She says, "Why doesn't anybody explain this to me from the beginning?" And that question is exactly why I'm making this video. Hey, my name is Daniel Solis and I'm a loan officer here in Virginia Beach and a mortgage strategist. And I have 10 years of experience. I work with a lot of first-time sellers, people who bought their first home, built equity, and are now trying to figure out how to turn that into the best possible next chapter. And there are patterns, things that consistently produce results, things that consistently cost people money. And I'm gonna walk you through both of them. The first thing that most first-time sellers do is call a real estate agent. And not that that's wrong, but it's the second call you should make, not necessarily the first. The first call really should be to your lender. And here's why. Because you can't make good decisions about selling. You need to know 3 numbers: what you're actually going to walk away with after commissions, costs, and paying off your mortgage, what you can borrow for the next home, and whether the money from the sale changes the big picture in a big way. And with those 3 numbers, you're making the most important financial decision of your adult life without the full picture. I've legitimately had sellers who listed their home and got an offer and then came to me to figure out their next purchase, and they found out what they netted wasn't enough for the down payment that they'd been planning on. Not because anything went wrong, but just because nobody ran the math first. Start with the math. Okay, how did my client end up with $47,000 more than she expected? A few things added up. First, she didn't actually know how much equity she had built. She had been glancing at her Zillow estimate here and there, but Zillow didn't know about the kitchen renovations that she had done. They didn't know about the HVAC in the bathroom that she had replaced and redone. And when we looked at similar homes in the neighborhood we're actually selling for, her home was actually worth a lot more than the algorithm was showing. Second, she priced it right. Not too high, not too low. Right. She got multiple offers the first weekend. Multiple offers means that she had options. She could pick the cleanest offer, counter where it made sense, and then gave nothing away in the negotiation. Third, she made 2 targeted improvements before the listing. Not a full renovation, 2 things. She gave the house some fresh paint and took professional photos. Under $3,000 combined. The photos alone brought in 40% more showings than the comparable listings 2 streets over that used iPhone pictures. None of that was complicated. It was just planned and intentional. I want to spend a minute on the other side of things because I think it's important to be straight with you and tell you what matters more than just the good parts of this story. There's cost in a home sale, and that first-time seller consistently underestimates these costs. First, real estate commissions come off the top, and in most transactions in Virginia, you're looking somewhere between 4 to 6% of the sales price, depending on how well the deal is put together. Closing costs on the seller side, things like transfer taxes, title fees, and prorated items, which just means that your share of the year's taxes or HOA fees based on what day you close. Typically, they run about 1% of the sales price in Virginia. Any repairs or credits that come out of the inspection, budget for this even if your home is in great shape. Buyers find things. They always find things. Having a little cushion means that you're not caught flat-footed. And if you have a mortgage, which most sellers do, your payoff amount is going to be slightly higher than the current balance because of those interest that's built up from your last payment. Not a big deal, but it is a difference, and it's something that you need to be aware of. When you add up all this, the gap between your sales price and what you actually put in your pocket, it's a real number. On a $400,000 house, you might net somewhere between $340,000 and $360,000, depending on your situation. That's still a ton of money. Just know that the real number going in so you can plan around reality and not just a pipe dream. Once you know what you're netting, the next question becomes this: what's next and when? The timing of your sale and your next purchase is part that creates the most stress for first-time sellers, and it's also the most fixable with a little preparation. The basic question is whether you can buy your next home before your current one sells, or after it sells, or at the same time. If you need money from your sale to put towards your next home, your timing has to be tied together. That means you'll likely be making what's called a contingent offer on your next house, which simply just means your offer says, I'll buy your home, but only after mine sells. That's a real and workable strategy, but it works best when your current home is already listed and or already under contract, so the seller can see that you are serious and you're moving forward. If you have enough saved up to close on your next home without waiting for your sale to go through, your options are a lot wider. You can actually make a move on your next purchase with more confidence and less pressure. Either way, knowing which situation you're actually in is everything, and that's exactly where you should start. The conversation takes about 20 minutes with a loan officer who knows what they're looking at. My client walked away with more than she expected because she started with a plan instead of just reacting to the process as it unfolded. And that's available for you too. If you're in Hampton Roads and you're thinking about selling your first home, or you just want to understand what the equity picture looks like and what your options are, that's the kind of conversations I have every single week. There's a link in the description that you can connect with me. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe. Real content for home buyers and homeowners in the market. This is all for you. I'll see you on the next one.